in history, all 4 belts in the cruiserweight division will belong proudly around the waist of one man.
Under Call of Duty.
Eddie, with that said, why didn't you do a second day weigh-in to even out the score? Because a lot of times when a guy doesn't make weight, they say, you know what, all right, there may have been a legitimate reason. But I've also seen other situations where you do a morning of weigh-in to balance the scales. That your guy was a welterweight tonight. Is that really a fair fight?
No, well, it wasn't a welterweight.
Light welterweight.
142.2 is a welterweight.
You don't have a welterweight tonight. There's no one in a weight class that's the same weight tonight. That's ridiculous.
Right, but your guy was 142.
Yeah, but he weighs 140 every time he fights. So he was £2 over.
Is that when he makes weight? Because one guy had to make weight.
Is.
So you're saying that you think that Oscar Valdez had an easier time with what he had to do, stretching himself out. The last couple of pounds were the toughest.
Hold on, Steve. Our boy had to go for a camp with a stress fracture in his foot trying to make weight. Right. He was in a terrible physical condition on the scale trying to make weight. Trust me, it was no benefit to him having that camp that he had and stripping himself down to try and make weight yesterday.
So Eddie, you'll be consistent. The next time one of your fighters has a guy that doesn't make weight, you'll say, you know what, we don't need to have a morning of weight.
Every situation is different. And my job is...
Yeah, your situation here, because here's the thing. The guy has a broken jaw. It was a rough fight. I congratulate both guys. I like Sky. But I do think it's a little bit of an imbalance when one guy makes weight, right? One guy doesn't. Your guy didn't come close. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
So now when you weigh in again, one guy has to kind of stretch himself to make the last couple of rounds.
You need to speak to the commission and maybe get some rules in place. The situation is, we were asked to weigh in on Saturday. Scott Quigg said, I'm not doing it.
Okay.
Okay.
Right, listen.
Do I think that's right or wrong? I don't think it was wrong of Top Rank or Valdez's team to request it. It's very normal to request a second day weigh-in in that instance. Right. Scott Quigg said, you know what? I've had the worst camp going. I've stripped myself down to make this weight. To be honest with you, if the fight's off, the fight's off.
Right. Well, the last thing, I don't want to hijack this whole thing. So would you have had a problem if the Espinoza camp... Well, okay, you're right.
I like this.
If Valdez would have said, you know what, okay, you don't want to do it, walked away, would you have been okay with that? Would you have understood their reasoning if that was the decision?
Having known what they probably knew, I would have been very surprised if they walked away from the fight.
Okay, fair enough.
Having known the camp, because they knew the camp that Scott Quigg had, and they knew that he wasn't in the best shape he could possibly be, and they knew that he was struggling at the weight all night and all day yesterday. So it wasn't like, but just believe me on one thing, it wasn't like Scott Quigg woke up and said, oh, you know what, I'm not going to make the weight, I won't try, because I witnessed him try, and it wasn't pretty. So he's a very stubborn individual. I don't necessarily agree with him refusing a second day weigh-in, and I honestly believe that if he would have not been through what he went through in camp, he would have done the second day weigh-in. But it was a situation where he said, listen, I've had enough. Okay. I've done everything I can to be here and to try and make the weight, and I'm not going for it, trying to hold my weight and do it again. Okay.
Eddie, when did Scott break his nose?
I believe it was like the 6th round, 6th, 7th round, something like that. I mean, he had a great round in the fifth round, where he hurt Valdez badly, and and then he got cut, and it set him back a little bit. But Valdez, I was hoping and praying and expecting Valdez to weaken down the stretch, but he didn't. And both guys showed unbelievable heart. It was a brilliant fight.
First time in history, all 4 belts in the cruiserweight division will belong proudly around the waist of one man.